Every season, farmers around the world face new challenges. Drought, floods, extreme heat, water shortages, rising fertilizer costs, labor shortages, new pests, plant diseases, poor soil, and the list keeps going. But while all of these challenges are real, they are not what farmers focus on every day. Their focus is on the outcome. Building a healthy farm with healthy soil that produces healthy crops. They strive for higher yields, lower input costs, fewer pesticides and harmful chemicals, safer working conditions for their employees, healthier food for consumers, and a more sustainable future for their family. Because regardless of the challenges they face, whether it's unpredictable weather, pests, rising costs, or water shortages, every farmer is working towards the same outcome. And here's how we help.
My dad planted the first largest planting of oranges in this area in 1958. And then when I was 12 years old, that was when I was 12, 13 actually, my first job in a citrus grove was to hand hoe the weeds around the trees and sucker the trees with a glove. You got the little growth came on, you just went down trees. That's my first experience in growing citrus at 13 years old. Since that time, I started buying citrus groves on my own in 1972 or 3, and in the meantime, we have bought, farmed thousands of acres and developed 2,000 or 3,000 acres of that. But over the years, I've been involved. I got into the juice business in 1986. And my territory was California, Arizona, Texas, and Mexico. I kind of have been all over, you sort of say. I'm kind of like the plague. I'm everywhere. I have been everywhere. And now that after I turned 80, I decided to bring it back in a little bit. And I just farm now 300 acres, this 100-acre block and another couple hundred, a little over, a few miles from here. That's been my involvement. And citrus this is my 57th season of farming citrus. I've done everything in citrus that I know you can do except sell retail. I've been a broker, buyer, packing house, juice plant operator, owner, and developer. So that's my basic history. What I love about farming is I'm outside. I'm not stuck in an office. I've had jobs where I've had an office with no windows. I didn't last very long at that. Farming talks to you. These trees talk to me, and they tell me when they need water. They tell me when they need fertilizer. They tell me when they need Lucio to come by and take care of them. They tell me when I need Martin to come by and harvest them. And they have been part of my life ever since I was a little kid. I was in charge of the yard and the garden. But being outside, the natural elements, and you don't have the smog, you don't have the city, I haven't seen anybody out here trying to live. That's what I like about the earth and the farming, is that I'm outside in nature, how God intended it to be, in my opinion. Started using the Harmonics Crop Booster about the same time we switched over to organics. And we have cut our pesticide spray in half or more. Since just after the first year we went organic, we went to the Kemanasi system. But the last 2 years, I'd have to say we haven't sprayed just for bugs. We sprayed nutritional stuff on it and put something in to preclude. For example, what we use is 415 oil. And oil, it's an orange oil, but it is. We're very happy with the way we've been able to save on spraying, and we don't use any chemicals, of course, but natural inputs to control bugs. If we weren't using, and before, like I said, we had to spray, if we weren't using the Harvest Harmonic Crop Booster to treat our water, in my opinion, we'd be spraying it 2 or 3 times a year. Our neighbor, who's organic, as I mentioned earlier, they spray 2-3 times. We only spray for nutritional benefits, and then we'll put in the orange oil, like I said, to control bugs that could come in. Because the oil's not expensive. The expensive part is having Lucio run that spray rig up and down here. Several years ago, I was offered a Harvest Harmonics Crop Booster for my nursery that I was operating in Porterville. That nursery was in an old packing house, and so we grew these plants that called dragon fruit plants, pitahaya, if you might. And we had a contract with box stores to grow these plants, and we'd never done it before. No one had ever grown 100,000. So we had to learn what we were doing. We had several different rooms, and I was offered, like as I said, I was offered a test. So I put it on one room. Well, that room grew twice as fast. I go, So I put it on another room. It grew twice as fast. So I go, I bought one for the whole facility. And then a couple years later, this is going back 10 years now or so, I planted 31 acres of young citrus and terabella. And I put the Harvest Harmonic Crop Booster on the source of water, which was, I have 2 sources there, a well and an irrigation company, but it doesn't matter, we can put on one source, the main source, so that when we planted it, it never had any water that wasn't treated by the Harvest Harmonic Crop Booster. And what I noticed was my neighbor to the east had planted 1 year earlier than me. My neighbor to the south had planted 2 years earlier to me. All these is all lemons. After 1 year, I was between the two. I was bigger than the guy that planted the neighbor on the east by far, and then the neighbor on the south, I was almost as big. We didn't gain 2 years. I figured we gained about 6 to 8 months growth in one season. Then I put it on this 100-acre block here, and I've been using it ever since. I now save a full 30%, a third of water. For example, the water in this area, most of the trees use 3 acre feet. I use 2, and that's documented by we have one source of water here called Arvin Water Storage District, and that's documented by their records for the last several years. And our crops, they are as good or better than they were before I went organic. Right now, I'm afraid to farm without it because of the success that we have, and you can see by looking at the fruit here. I mean, it's plentiful. It has more juice content than it had before. The brix is higher. I get a premium for the juice and the appearance of the fruit. I get a premium for the fresh pack that we use as well. So I'm afraid not to use it. Since we've been using the Harvest Harmonic Crop Booster, our gallons per ton has gone up. Our brix, which is the sugar, has gone up. So our yield for the juice plant by 20-25% has gone up. And so that's enabled us to get a premium. And I hate to tell you this, but that premium just more than pays for the system, not to mention the water savings. My understanding is how it works is it's like tuning a piano to where it's harmony to the agony, okay? So the water and the soil, when they're in sync, in the same tune, trees are happier. With the happy trees, stronger trees always been able to ward off more pests. It's always been able to ward off more heat stress. Always been able to ward off cold. Always. The stronger the tree, like a human being, the stronger you are, the more you can take the element changes. As far as what we've experienced on inputs and costs, maybe I said before, we're saving 1/3 water, one acre foot. We put on 2. In this area, it's really warm. We normally is 3, sometimes 3.5. And as far as spraying, Lucio, he doesn't have to spray very much. He's had to spray for nutrition, and like I said, we just put in a prophylactically material to keep the bugs from coming in. So my total input on inputs that I have to spend for crop production or protection, has been cut over half. And the neighbors across the street keep referring to them because they're right here, and it's the same rootstock, same trees, etc. 2-3 sacks to a tree, and these are 8-10. That's what I notice. And of course, as I drive up, I always compare: are my trees dark green? Are they healthy? Is my neighbors? Are they as healthy as the conventional? I mean, I do that every single day I'm here, which is like 3 days a week. These trees here were planted in the early 70s. In 1983, they were lemons. In 1983, I budded them over to oranges, as at that time, Arizona had planted every nook and cranny to lemons, and it was completely overstuffed worldwide supplied. So these are old trees, and they're 50 years old, over 50 years old, and the vitality and the health is still very, very strong. So I attribute that to several things. We try to take care of and give the trees everything they need. And when we added the Harvest Harmonics Booster, that just gave us a boost, so to speak. And I've asked, like our PCA, I said, that's for pest control advisor. He does thousands of acres. I asked him one time, I said, we were driving around looking at other organics groves. Why does that one why do ours look so like conventional? Those look so poor. He said, only I can figure out is that doggone water thing you put on. Which he was referring to the Kemenasi system, of course, from Harvest Harmonics. We're very confident going forward with the future of agriculture. This particular grove right here in this farm, as I said, we've been on this land for 43 years. And I hope we get on it for another 43 with my family. I don't think I'll be here 43 more years, but you never know. Maybe I should start drinking the water, put it on my house. It would do that. I'm really happy about the future, very positive about the future. I would say to another farmer that's considering it, I would give him my experience, as I've mentioned before, that I put it on these different, I've tested side by side with blocks with the Harvest Harmonics Kemenasi system, and without, and that's the difference. Is what I've seen. That's why 100% of what I grow has the Harvest Harmonics Crop Booster, 100%. You know, I have been involved in farming for so many years. I saw, as a young child, working in my father's farm, both citrus and potatoes and other things. These were all farmed before we had all of these chemicals. So they were farmed pretty naturally, organically by default maybe, or just by nature. And over the years, we have had to increase pesticides because what we have done is we've taken what naturally occurred. Good bugs eat bad bugs. And you can feed the good bugs, so you don't have to spray. And over the years, we have just relied on chemical pesticides and fertilizers, and perhaps weed killers. I can't really test with the weed killers. I don't know. There's big lawsuits about that. But we're taking it away from nature. We mow here, and that's how we take care of our weeds. We plant legumes here. But we add nitrogen and natural organic matter back into this naturally. We let God take care of it, and we facilitate what God gives us. We have now created our own nightmare. We have certain pests like the ones called the California red scale, and we eliminated its natural predators. And so we have to now, in some cases, we use natural predators here. We introduce them here. As I was saying, 50 years ago, it just was nature. So what we're doing is we're going back to nature, and the Harvest Harmonics Kemenasi system is aiding and abetting that venture to get it back to nature. Let nature take care of things.